guys lately?
Well, it seems like it's improving, and not seems like it looks like it's improving, and sometimes players. I mean, your 3-point defense can be pretty good, and guys can make shots still. But what I think we've gotten a little bit better at is eliminating those easy ones. And, when you stack the easy ones and then you play good players and then they make the tough ones, well, now they've made 11, 12 threes. But if you eliminate the easy ones and they have to make tough ones all night, they're usually it bodes well for you. And so I think we have a little more attention to detail and attention to scouting reports and tendencies a little bit better. And, just the understanding of how our defense works with some of the younger guys, that's helped. And but it takes a lot of effort and a lot of concentration and energy to be good at that. And I was really proud of our guys' effort because when I look back on that film, we had to play a really good game. I mean, that was one of our best road games we've had, if not the best, because of the way we guarded and how tough we were, and we weathered a big storm when they got some touchdowns off pick sixes, and so to be able to respond the right way and finish the game after that was terrific. So really proud of our effort because, like I said, that we were facing a team that had their backs to the wall and they were kind of the wounded animal, and they our hats off to them. They played a good game too. I think we just played a great game.
I don't think they showed it on TV, but one of the things I noticed there was after Pearson had a couple of those turnovers, when there was a timeout, I forget, you called it, whoever called it, there was like 3 or 4 guys in the team that right away went up to him, put their arm around him.
Yeah.
Al, those guys didn't even let him get to the huddle. They stopped him out there at half court and were consoling him and stuff. I mean, what's that say about the leadership, I guess, on this team for that to happen?
And that's what makes it special. And that's what, when it's player-led and when those guys, because he knew, and boy, he wanted us to win. After that, it's, because these guys all pull for the younger guys and help the younger guys and coach them. And they've all been through that kind of situation. And so, it's just part of the maturation process. But it helps when you have teammates that love you and that care about you, and coaches that care about you and love you and want to make you better. And so that's what makes our culture a little different.
Is he still part of the rotation, or does that kind of make you think, okay, maybe he needs to take a step back, or how do you kind of look at those turnovers with him? And
no, because what he's bringing some really. There's a reason he's out there.
Yeah.
You guys have seen some of the reasons, but that was a concern. I remember, I said that when we were trying to make the decision about redshirting, not redshirting. I said, well, the only bad thing about doing it now is he's going to go through some turnover problems, as all freshmen do. It's just, now, had he played maybe that extra 100 minutes that he would have maybe played in the preseason, maybe those come at a more opportune time. So, but they always are going to come with freshmen. They're going to have things like that happen, but good players adjust, and he's going to keep adjusting. And our staff does a great job with sitting down with guys, watching more film, and making them understand it, and working on it in practice and that kind of thing. And so that's. But it's great to learn those lessons in a win.
RJ Keane, again, 10 rebounds, 0 for 1, and that shot was kind of a toss-up at the end of the shot clock.
Right.
How do you feel about having a guard out there that essentially doesn't shoot?
Well, but he also doesn't turn the ball over, and he goes and rebounds. And that's a great example for those young guys, because I've told them, understand this, when I'm subbing you, I'm usually subbing one of you for a guy that's rebounding. So there can't be a big so it's I got to keep up to that level, and it makes the other guys better by him doing that. And in the middle of that game, one of our coaches huddles, we said, well, if we're gonna keep missing shots, we might as well have Keane out there. It's nice to have mulligans in your pocket, that's pretty impressive, some of those balls that he gets to. And not only that, though, the ones he tips, he ends up getting, he's got a knack for that ball and ends up tipping it, to some of our guys.
I mean, he came here as a shooter, as a scorer, right? And I guess what's he like in practice now? Do you see him shooting and scoring in practice, or is what we see on course what we see?
And he can shoot, and he will have those. I mean, remember the Clemson game? He hit a big three on the side there at a big moment, and no. But the great thing he's when you got other guys scoring, then he doesn't have to, and you can't just. He's not one of those guys you can just completely back off and ignore. If you do, he'll make them pay.
What's the greatest challenge in San Jose State now? It seems like they've gotten better since the game in December. And
Yeah.
They've won 5 league games, which for them is a pretty high total.
Yeah, and the ones they haven't won, they've been right there. I mean, they're playing good basketball. Tim's done a great job with this group. They've got dynamic players that can really score. I mean, they had 2 guys get 30 in their last game. I mean, they've had 2 guys get 6 threes in games. I mean, this is an explosive team that can make shots and beat anybody on any given night, and we're fully aware of that.
Yeah, you look at your 2-point field goal percentage in conference play. It's like top 10 in America for like conference games. Why has that been such an efficient area for you guys this year?
Well, we've got a stable of a lot of good physical big guys that can get to the rim, and you're talking about Tyson, Javen, Omar, Ems, Bill, all these guys that can score around the basket, and then you got tough drivers and guys that are getting even better at it, like Meadow, and then you've got a point guard that will get you easy baskets if you just keep rolling hard, keep running to the rim, keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to get rewarded for it, and that ends up in some easy baskets at the rim. So I think all those things add up for us to be a good 2-point team.
And I know you want to, the answer is probably 1,000%, but is there like 61.5% is pretty darn high, it seems, for that. So
Yeah.
Is there a number that you would target, like, that's good?
Yeah, I'd like to see us get to 70. Yeah, that's good. No, I mean, it's terrific, but that's why our offense has been pretty darn efficient, because that's what I liked about this last game we played, is we won on the road with a lot of old school things that we won with. We didn't win because we just made a bunch of shots. We won because of our defense, because of our rebounding, because of our toughness, and the toughness to we got a lot of free throws early with the way we started that game. We didn't have hardly any field goals. We were winning from the free throw line, and so these guys had the right mindset. We didn't shoot, just first available shot and settle. We're fighting for good possessions.
Tyson is such a selfless guy, obviously, but he seemed pretty darn aggressive early in the game at UNLV. Was that coincidence, intentional? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've been talking about and working on, and so yeah, I the more aggressive he can be, the better team we are, and because he can do things other guys can't in this whole league and country.
What's it mean to have him on the Karl Malone list?
Yeah, that's so cool when you look at the list of guys that I was going through that list. I mean, wow, that's 10 really good players, and only 9 others other than Tyson. I mean, you take any one of those guys, and I think if you look at that list, those are all guys that can play basketball for a long time and make a lot of money, and that Tyson belongs in that list, and so I'm really happy for him to get the national attention he deserves, and proud of his accomplishments here.
Obviously, he's got a lot of recognition in the Mountain West already, but it feels like this is maybe one of his biggest national recognitions. Does it feel like that national recognition is long overdue?
Well, you always think that, because of where we are in the West Coast and the sometimes the times you play, and I've been in a lot of discussions with other coaches about that. That half the country never sees a lot of the things that we've done over the years, and that like Tyson's done. When we're talking about Tyson, they just see it the next day, but probably don't see it. So the value to playing earlier for the West Coast guys, and for the West Coast guys to get notoriety, it's pretty hard.
You mentioned going back, making some plays. You had to make some plays in the final 5 minutes there to win that game.
Oh, heck yeah.
I know it wasn't a big crowd, but they got back into it a little bit, and it started to get a little, 4-point game, and they were making a little noise. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like, defensively you had to get some stops, and then I think Javen had the little floater, and I think Al had to make a layup, and then you didn't make all your free throws, but you made enough.
Right.
What did that say, I guess, to be able to pull that out when it was starting to get a little dicey there?
Oh yeah, especially momentum is a real thing, and you felt that shift over to their side, and our guys, the veterans in the huddle, handled it, and it wasn't, and that's what you need. I mean, that's what you're going to face to win games on the road, and like you said, you have to be able to go get stops. Yeah, we had some timely buckets that were huge, but if you're not getting stops, and with their point guard and the way they play, it's hard to get stops. And shoot, we did a great job defensively in that game. And so really proud of our guys, because that's the resolve that it takes. I mean, you watch all these games and all over the country. You watch, and there's one team I was watching, and I'm like, God, they're really good. I saw them in the preseason. I'm like, that's one of the best teams in the country, and they lost 4 in a row in league. It's hard to win games in league, and no matter who you play, they usually go down to the wire. You're not like, you're not just mailing it in or showing up to win a league game. It's going to be a battle, and the resolve that it took to go down there and get that done, that was impressive by our guys.
And I think I know the answer to this, but Joe Lenardi kind of put you guys back on his list of teams he's looking at. I know it's a lot of games left here, but with what you have left in the schedule and just how you guys think you're playing, do you allow yourself, I guess, to say, if we go one game at a time, if we all your goals are still out there, I guess?
They are. They've been out there all along. That's you and your narrative, or you and you're not saying you. That's something you guys talk about. We haven't lost sight of it. No, not at all. It's not like we're playing and then we're not playing for something. We know we're playing for something every night, but that's not how you look at it. You don't look way down the road. You don't look. We got a tough San Jose team coming in. We got one job to play our best game Friday night. If we don't play a good game, this is going to be. They're tough. Like I said, you saw the game when we played there. That was, shoot, we had to do a lot of things right down the stretch to win that one. And when I look back on it, I was like, wow, because they played great against us, and I expect nothing less for tomorrow.
Talking about you guys on defense. You go back to the Nevada game, and it took them 7 minutes and 4 seconds to score their first bucket of that game. And coming out of halftime, UNLV didn't score a single point for the first 5:55. What do you credit those long stretches to, where all of a sudden you go from a tight game to kind of a double-digit lead because of what you're doing on both ends?
I think the key to us being a good defensive team is all 5 guys locked into their assignments and go from one assignment to another better. And that's just what we're getting now, a little more understanding, a little more experience, a little more, because I think we weren't bad defensively before, but you'd look at a possession that didn't go right and you'd be like, man, these 4 did great, and then one guy missed an assignment, and now we're having less and less of that, where more guys understand, or more guys are able to guard without fouling, and those kind of things. So it's just the progress of getting more time in the gym and keep getting them better at that stuff.
You mentioned earlier, or a couple of weeks ago in the name of the day, you were talking about executing scouting reports and things like that. So
Yeah.
what I know it kind of seems silly, but what is the key to taking that from practice and
Yeah.
in a game when things are flying around,
Right.
remembering what you need to do? I guess.
I think it's just the repetition of doing it all the time. The coaches have done a great job of keep adjusting it, and then like I mentioned before, to have some practice time. That's crucial. And we had a few days, when we had that first bye, and then hopefully we have some more coming up and that kind of thing. So, but because it's you're just on to game, the scouting report and all that, you still gotta work on getting your guys better without wearing them out. So it's always a art to it.
I know the guys have cited a lot of those late losses as kind of stuff that's fueled them. How much have you seen that really help the defensive effort for the full 40 minutes?
I mean, you know, you get what you need in situations, not what you want, and we needed to get better at that. So that's, you know, I mean, we don't accept in winning what we won't tolerate in losing. I mean, it's not like we go, oh, we lost, so we're gonna change all this. No. We knew I mean, had we won that Utah State game, we were still gonna look at it and go, wow, you know, for the percentage they shot in the second half, we gotta get a lot better, you know. So it doesn't, winning and losing shouldn't have an effect on that. But sometimes it does. Sometimes it gives you, you know, a little more juice to what you're saying, you know, like, hey, we've been saying this, now this is why you have to be able to get better defensively.
Did you ever send that